Coral reefs are aragonite structures, formed by living creatures in shallow tropical or marine waters. Almost all of the world's coral reefs are found within 30 degrees north and south of the equator. The coral reefs located in American Samoa are classified as Indo-Pacific coral reef ecosystems. American Samoa's coral reefs contain over 220 species of hard corals and over 890 species of fish. There are three types of coral reefs: fringing reefs, barrier reefs, and atolls. Most coral reefs in American Samoa are fringing reefs. Both Swains Island and Rose Island are coral reef atolls. The distance from the reef crest to the shore in American Samoa can be as short as 50 feet, or it can be up to 500 feet, as in the village of Nu'uli. The fringing reefs often have an outlet or channel, locally called an ava, where the water from the incoming waves flows back off the reef. The currents in the ava can be very strong at times and can sweep an unexpected swimmer out into deep water. Fringing reefs can be broken down into three basic zones. The outer reef, or forereef zone. In this zone, the coral reef comes up from the seafloor to near the water's surface, where the reef crest zone starts. The forereef zone can occur as a deep sea wall, known as a deep forereef wall, or as a sloping incline called a buttress zone. This area is commonly referred to as the reef slope. The reef crest area. The reef crest area can be very shallow, and corals could be exposed to the air at very low tide. Many of the coral species found on the reef crest have adapted to survive being exposed to the air during low tide events. The reef crest is a high energy area where the waves break. Only the toughest of the corals and coralline algae can grow here. The reef flat zone is an area in between the reef crest and shore. The inner reef flat zone can consist of back reef areas, lagoons, or both. The reef flat zone is protected from heavy waves by the reef crest area. The protection from heavy waves allows for the growth of more fragile coral species. Because of this protection, the area covered by corals in the back reef and lagoon areas can be very high. Many unique fish and invertebrate species can be found living in the coral reef habitat. The orange-spotted filefish only feeds on coral polyps. Several species of pipefish can be found on the coral reefs in American Samoa. The banded coral shrimp cleans parasites off of fish. The mantis shrimp is a predator of fish and snails. Lobsters live in holes and caves within the reef structure. Most hermit crabs are herbivores and can be found from the beach areas to the 4 reef zones in the outer reef. The blue Linkia starfish is a common reef crest and back reef inhabitant. Sea urchins are important algae eaters. They can be found living throughout the coral reef ecosystem. The cushion starfish is more round than star-shaped. Both the cushion starfish and the crown-of-thorns starfish eat coral polyps. The crown-of-thorns starfish can increase in numbers very quickly and therefore be very destructive to our coral reef ecosystem. Sea cucumbers are related to both starfish and urchins. Some species of sea cucumbers are filter feeders, gathering their food from the water column. Others filter their food from the sand or collect it from the surface of the coral reef structure. There are 2 types of giant clams, Physeua, found in American Samoa. Tridacna maxima is the most common species. The mantle of the Maxima giant clam, Physeua, can be very colorful. The other type of Physeua found in American Samoa is Tridacna squamosa. There are many types of snails living in American Samoa's coral reef habitats. The cuttlefish isn't a fish at all. It is a relative of the octopus, Fei. The coral reef ecosystem is home to many types of animals and plants. But the actual coral reef structure itself is mainly made up from the skeletons of corals. So what exactly is a coral? Corals are small invertebrate animals. A single coral animal is called a polyp. Many coral polyps living together make up the coral colony. Many corals have single-celled algae called zooxanthellae that live inside their cells. Both the corals and the algae benefit from the symbiotic relationship. The zooxanthellae algae uses the sun's energy to convert carbon dioxide into energy-rich sugars that the corals can use for growth. In return, the algae receives protection living inside of the corals. It's the zooxanthellae algae living inside of the corals that give many corals their typical brown colorization. There are two types of corals, hard corals and soft corals. Hard corals have an internal, rock-like skeleton that remains after they die. Soft corals do not produce a hard calcium-based skeleton. Some soft corals look very much like hard corals. Soft corals can be found just about anywhere in the coral reef ecosystem. Zoanthids are one of the most common types of soft corals. Soft corals and hard corals can often be found growing alongside of each other. The reef-building hard coral species have a wide range of different shapes. These shapes can be described as free living, non-attached, massive boulder-like corals, branching bush-like corals, branching staghorn-like corals, columnar, digitate, or finger-like corals, laminar, forming a tier, or also known as table or plate-like corals, foliaceous, forming a whorl, and encrusting, growing in a layer across the substrate. The same species of coral can also have different shapes and different growth patterns at different depths. In general, corals at deeper depths tend to be more flattened. This allows them to expose their symbiotic alga to more light. Many coral species live within certain areas or zones on the reef. Some can only grow on certain parts of the reef. A few coral species can live anywhere on the coral reef. The fragile back reef and lagoon corals are good examples of those that have special requirements that limit the areas where they can grow. Wave action, current, light intensity, and temperature are all major factors on where a coral species might be able to grow. Just like the corals, some fish can also be found in certain areas or zones. However, being mobile, many fish species can be found just about any place on the reef. The skeletons of the hard corals and other invertebrates with calcium shells make up a large part of the coral reef structure. Coralline algae is a hard rock-like algae that deposits calcium as it grows. This coralline algae also adds to the coral reef's growth. There are many relationships between species in the coral reef habitat. Blue streak cardinalfish only live in between the branches of Parietes cylindrica corals. The coral reef provides refuge for many fish and invertebrate species. The cleaner wrasse is a helpful fish that removes parasites from other fish. There are several species of cleaner wrasses found on American Samoa's coral reefs. The goatfish and the wrasses often hunt together for food. The relationship between the clownfish and the anemone is one of the most interesting on the coral reef. We'll study the anemone and the clownfish relationship along with others in the future episode of Under the Waves of American Samoa.